Hi guys, I'm a Forester here. Over the years I've uploaded quite a few YouTube videos about my father-in-law and his experiences fighting in the Pacific during World War II. He fought at Iwo Jima and he served in the occupation of Japan after the end of the war. He brought back some neat trophies, and in recent videos I've shown 3 Japanese swords that he claimed. But today I want to show you the first of his World War II era rifles that he owned. Now here are 2 of them. One's a Japanese rifle and the other is a British rifle, or maybe I should say Australian. And that's the one we're going to look at today, the Australian-made Lee Enfield SMLE. I wish I could tell you the history of this rifle and how my Marine father-in-law came to own it, but the truth is that as far as I know, he never talked much about his time fighting in World War II, and none of his children know how he came to own this gun. I'll show you the gun and the markings on it, and maybe some viewers can help unravel its history. Now the rifle appears to be in excellent condition. Although it has definitely seen use, everything appears to be in working order, and the stock only has minor blemishes. I'll give you a view of it so you can judge for yourself. If I can keep the glare from shining on that wood too much. All right, let's turn it over and I'll show you the other side. Now the wood has darkened with age, I'm sure. And he did take the bolt out of both of these guns and taped them to the wood stock, which left a lot of glue residue in a couple of places. So I did go over it with a mild solvent to try to get that glue off. Now the Lee Enfield had a long history as the primary rifle used by the British and their Commonwealth nations during World War I and II. It's still probably being used in some parts of the world now. Many of these rifles were made in Enfield, England, but this particular rifle was made somewhere else, and it's stamped in a couple of places on the gun. One is right here on this band, and if you can read that, it says Lithgow, and that's in Australia. It was actually manufactured in 1942 as it's stamped here. And I've read that over 100,000 of these guns were manufactured annually. The model number is S.M.L.E 3 with an asterisk. And the asterisk designates some change in features that I'll go over in a little bit. The S.M.L.E is a bolt action that fires a .303 British cartridge. The S.M.L.E abbreviation stands for Short Magazine Lee Enfield. Now, short refers to the length of the barrel, not the length of the magazine. This barrel is midway between the original longer version of the rifle and the carbine version of this particular gun. This barrel is roughly 25 inches long. Now it's magazine fed, and the magazine holds 10 rounds. One of the differences in the Model 3 and Model 3 with an asterisk is they dropped a magazine cutoff feature that was right here that allowed the soldier to feed and extract 1 round at a time manually while keeping the rounds in the magazine in reserve. The magazine release lever is right here. You just press up on it and the magazine will fall out. But I think that the magazines were meant to be reloaded a round at a time from above instead of replacing magazines. The bolt action seems to work just fine. It operates smoothly. But one thing you'll notice about the Lee bolt action is how the striker cocks upon closing instead of upon opening. So there's no resistance at all down to that point. And then when you close the bolt, the striker is cocked. Now, the safety is right here, so if you move the safety to a rearward position, you can't fire the gun. But if you move that safety to the forward position or off, you have a choice. You can either pull the trigger and lower that striker manually, or you can pull the trigger and fire the gun. Okay, this model has a sliding ramp rear sight, and I want to give you a good view of that. The front sights are fixed, and here's what they look like. Now for aiming, the rear sight just has a very simple U-notch. And I think maybe you can see that there. The sliding ramp works like this. This is the lowermost position for the rear sight. By pressing in on this knob right here and sliding that forward, it raises those rear sights. So that's about as high as they go. And then pressing in and sliding backwards lowers them to the lowest position. Seems to be very reliable. One thing that I was glad to see is that the serial number is the same in several places. One place is right here on the bolt housing. Let me give you a close-up of that. It's designated by D10719. Now it shows up two other places. One is on the underside of the forearm stock. There it says D10719. And the third place it shows up is on the bayonet boss, right there. D10719. Now that gives me some confidence that this SMLE is close to original condition. There are several other markings on this gun that may give clues as to its history. One is right here above the serial number, and it's 3 letters, FTR. Try to give you a close-up of that. I did look that one up, and it stands for Factory Thorough Repair. And it does seem to be part of an original stamping. Another mark on this gun that may offer up a clue is here on the stock, and it says WNTS, and that might be a 1 or it might just be a gouge in the wood. Now I haven't been able to find what that stands for. And one other marking on this gun that I've tried to hide during this video is this one right here, A11. That looks to me to be some type of more modern marking, and it seems to be, my best guess is that it's an inventory number. I hope that somebody with more knowledge than me will comment on these markings and what they might mean. I'd appreciate your best guess as to how this rifle made its way from Australia to South Carolina. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for a future video on the second World War II rifle in this series. Y'all take care.